Monkey Man is the directorial debut of one Dev Patel, who also stars in the movie, and this film is about a young man living in the underbelly of Mumbai, run by a group of elites that are pulling the strings behind the scenes. Consumed with rage from his tragic past, the young man vows to take down the elites, killing any goon who gets in his way. That's all I'm gonna say without spoiling this video, but Monkey Man. This was a movie I heard nothing but praise for. I heard everyone talking about how it was one of the best action movies of the year. A lot of people were comparing it to John Wick for its action. People were saying it's brutal, it's fun, it's amazing, and I was super excited to watch it because I love those sort of movies, and I love John Wick, but I really just want to say for the people who are expecting this movie to be a John Wick ripoff or a John Wick mimic clone, like one for one, just a bunch of really cool action sequences with a very similar story, you're not going to get that here. It does have inspirations from John Wick, definitely, which I am going to be talking about in this video, but it is not a John Wick clone one for one, like, at all. There is a lot that makes this movie extremely different to John Wick, and I am going to be talking about that, of course, a little bit later, but there's a lot of really good stuff in this movie that is reminiscent of John Wick, so it's kind of like one of these things where you just go in with an open mind and you're going to have a great time, because this movie is friggin' awesome. It is so much fun, it is such a well-made movie with so many different things going on, but this movie does have one problem. Like, I was not able to figure out a single other thing that I disliked about this movie besides one thing, which I'm actually going to talk about first, just so I can get it out of the way, just so you can understand some of the other points I'm going to go through. I do need to talk about the con before anything. And that's the fact that the action in this movie is very hit or miss, not from a point of view of choreography, I want to stress, because the choreography in this movie is absolutely amazing. Like, it is fan-friggin-tastic from everyone. It's all really, really strong. But the problem is that this movie suffers from one of the worst things in Hollywood that I absolutely hate seeing in movies. This movie has a shit ton of shaky cam. I really don't understand the appeal of shaky cam. If anyone really likes it, or if it's even really intentional, I don't understand how difficult it is to just hold the camera still and let us see this really good choreography and these scenes play out. But unfortunately, the beginning half of this movie, you don't get that. Like, there's this very specific scene in the movie where they're getting chased in a car chase sequence, and it should be a really cool scene, but the thing is, you're going to like different shot after different shot, and all these really weird angles that are just shaking, the camera's just shaking furiously. It's really hard to tell what's happening throughout the entire bit of it, and that is such a disappointment because the action in this movie is friggin' awesome. It is so good. Like, you can just tell by watching the action in this movie that they really cared, and they wanted to make a brutal and just guttural movie with a lot of really great action scenes, with some really intense gore as well. Like, there's a couple moments in this movie, I don't want to say it goes to like John Wick level gory, but there's a couple moments you kind of go, oh my god, like, that was not only badass, but that was fucked up, I'm not gonna lie. And obviously that makes it fun, but I just really wish I could have got more of that in this movie, because in the beginning half of this movie, when that stuff's going on, I can't really tell what the hell's happening. But uniquely enough, I actually do want to say that there is a silver lining to this mistake, and that's the fact that throughout the movie, this problem actually completely goes away by the second half. Like, when it gets to a certain point in the movie, it's like a completely different person filmed the action sequences. You can see them, they're perfect, you can actually like tell what people are doing, and you can just see the choreography, and it's amazing. Like, it's so good. And it's from those scenes specifically, I can definitely see people saying this is the best action movie of the year. Like, I totally 100% agree so far, but it's just unfortunate that the rest of the movie was just so painful to watch, honestly. But getting to that final act of the movie is just amazing. Like, it's so good, and I loved that bit of the movie, but I really wanted to just get that across, is that the shaky cam in this movie is unreal at the beginning, and I thought it was crazy originally, because everyone was loving this movie, but I did go back and watch some people, what they said about this movie, and they largely said the same thing, so I feel confident in saying it. I just want to stress that the beginning half of this movie has a lot of shaky cam, and coming from a person who fucking despises shaky cam, I was really disappointed to see that in the movie, but it corrects itself in the movie. Like, it corrects itself closer to the end, and I just wanted to say that it's all hope is not lost. It is still a fantastic movie. Opposed from the action scenes, this is an absolutely gorgeous movie. There are a lot of really, really striking shots in this movie that are visually just eye candy. They're perfect in this movie. A lot of really, really great scenes that I was loving, and they're very creative as well. I don't want to specifically spoil them all, but just the uses of lighting and the grittiness of this movie just really helps this movie feel a lot more deep and a lot more grounded, I would say. This movie is very, very grounded. It is a bit absurd at a certain point, like, the action is pretty over the top, but what you're getting here is a pretty dramatic story. And I think that creativity that I mentioned earlier really seeps into, like, the core of this movie, and really helps it stand out opposed to other revenge films that have been made. It felt like a completely new experience from anything I've really seen from this genre specifically in terms of a story, because we're going to India and we get all these like cultural influences in this movie, but just how they infused it into this movie really made this movie stand out and be incredibly unique, and I loved it, honestly. And really quickly before I go on, I really do want to talk about Dave Patel specifically, because I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't know this actor very much when I actually stepped in to watch this movie. Call me uncultured, I haven't seen him in other things, but I was intrigued from this movie because he's not only directing this movie, but he's the main star in this movie, and I'm just gonna say it right now, if this man does not become a full-blown action star by the time this movie comes out, I'll be shocked, because he puts his heart and soul into this movie, I feel like. The level of dedication behind the camera and in front of the camera is honestly just kind of jaw-dropping. Like, he does such a good job for his very first movie he's ever directed. Like, it's crazy, honestly, just how much style is dripping out of this movie. And it's actually very interesting to me in terms of the story of how this movie was made, because it almost didn't go to theaters. We almost really didn't get this movie. Like, it was originally kind of doomed to fail, but Jordan Peele, who is one of my favorite directors ever, and his production company basically saved this movie from streaming hell. And thank God he did, because this is a movie we needed to see in theaters. Like, this is one of those movies that you just need to watch in theaters. Especially if you're into action movies, like, dude, it's so goddamn good. Like, there is so much style in this movie, and so much that just makes this movie so worthwhile to watch. And that's why I'm very simply gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10. The only thing dragging it back is the beginning half with its action sequences and how it is mostly just shaky cam, and it really took me out of the movie. But when it gets past that and it really gets going, this movie is just fantastic. Like, it's so goddamn good, and I loved it, and I want to watch it again. Like, honestly, this was the biggest I'm in moment of the year, to be honest. Like, this movie just made me believe that Dave Patel is such a great director and an actor to be reckoned with, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. But that was my opinion on Monkey Man. If you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments. Did you love this movie? Did you hate this movie? But with that, if you like this video, you can like and subscribe down below for more content on the channel coming pretty damn soon, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. See ya.